Okay. All right, Dr. Oriol. So, thank you very much for spending your afternoon with us, and thank you for supporting Asia CEO. So, Gary and myself, we're very thankful to all the members who supported us with building this community. So it's going to be a very light 30 minutes. We do this because we wanted to know more intimately our members, and then hopefully, with this podcast, the other members get to know you better as well. Because, having a LinkedIn or even having an email, it's not personal enough. I mean, we wish we could have, face-to-face event, but unfortunately, in the last 1.5 years, we are all in that Zoom space, right? But anyway, we make do with what we have. So I'll be asking you, a couple of questions. One is, of course, a little bit about yourself, from a personal life point of view, and then what you do. And then I know that you're a fintech guru, you're in the fintech space. What do you see the future of it, right? So let's start. One or two things that we at Asia CEO don't know about you. Like, are you currently based in Hong Kong?
I'm normally based in Hong Kong. I'm in Spain right now because of the pandemic, but I'm normally in Hong Kong, yes.
Right. And so Hong Kong is actually your base for work, or do you travel frequently?
No, I mean, it used to be Hong Kong, but right now, because of the pandemic, it's hard to know where, like, what my base is, no? But it used to be Hong Kong. I mean, even though, of course, I travel frequently throughout Asia, but it was Hong Kong.
Right. And now you're very focused on the fintech startup accelerator space, right? Now, what about past life? Were you always in this space?
No, it's actually been like a life journey. I'm actually, first of all, thank you very much for having me today, because I didn't say that before. So thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Our pleasure. Yeah.
And then starting with your question. Basically, it's been like a journey. I mean, I actually graduated from law school 9 years ago. So I initially worked as a lawyer here in Spain.
Oh.
Then I know it's different, but I was in corporate law and this kind of stuff, which was interesting, but it wasn't actually my thing. So this is why I did an MBA as well. And I finally moved to Hong Kong when I finished my PhD, because I wanted to know more about research. So this is why I did the MBA and the PhD. And when I was finishing my PhD, I finally moved to Hong Kong, where I started to work first at the Chamber of Commerce, then for a public listed company as a financial business analyst, more on the M&A side. And then I went to fintech. So it's been like a 3-step process. I mean, law and being a lawyer, then focusing towards traditional finance through my MBA, and then through working in that public listed company in Hong Kong. And then the third step was this refocusing towards fintech. This was something more recent. I started in 2017, or around 4 years ago. I started to realize that the future was not about traditional finance anymore, or about traditional, law. It's more about anything tech related. So this is why I started to try to learn more about this whole fintech area.
Okay, and what are the current interesting projects that you are working on, or is there any interesting fintech companies that you personally are looking at?
Well, I mean, I'm currently involved in many projects. I mean, I work for a European-based legal tech company, for example, AirHelp, as a management consultant. That's more on the legal tech side. And aside from that, I'm advising a few fintech companies, mostly from Hong Kong. There is one called IX Fintech, ETF Cool. One is more on the crypto space, the other more on the wealth management space. I mean, but fintech at the end of the day. And aside from that, I'm also collaborating as a mentor for several incubators and accelerators. I mean, one of them, Cyberport in Hong Kong, for example. I'm collaborating as a mentor for their mentorship programs. Also in R3 in Singapore, F10, Rise by Barclays. So I try to be as involved as possible in this whole fintech area. And aside from this professional side, to put it one way, I'm also a fellow at several organizations, such as, for example, the Digital Euro Association, the Asian Institute of International Financial Law at Hong Kong University. So I try to be as active as possible. I think I have this kind of advantage in some sense that I hold both a PhD and an MBA, so I can both be like more involved in academic projects and also in more like non-academic ones, to put it that way.
So you hold a PhD in what specific field?
Well, actually, it's not in fintech, to be honest, because I started my PhD in 2014, and I finished my PhD in 2017, in October 17. So I did my PhD in a very different topic, which was real estate law and economics, applied to Hong Kong. Yeah, I mean, it's not related to fintech at all, because back then I was like still more involved in finance-related projects. So this is why my PhD was mostly like 50% law, 50% finance. I mean, looking at real estate from this regulatory perspective, of course, but also from this economic perspective when it comes to urban economics, mortgages, all the kind of stuff. I mean, it's of course a very interesting area, but then I refocused towards doing research on my current topics, which are blockchain, CBDCs, mostly these two areas, and fintech in general.
Interesting keywords, blockchain, because I've met many people, startups trying to pitch to us, right? So every pitch, I'll be using blockchain, I'll be using AI, right? So since you are in the space, right? I mean, for general public, there are many of us members who are business people, but I haven't really found someone who can explain blockchain in the most layman's term. Maybe do you want to try to
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like we need to start like from the very beginning. I mean, in the sense that blockchain was invented like to support cryptocurrencies like more than a decade ago, but right now its applications cover much more than just cryptos. I mean, it's true that I mean, the first thing that I feel like we need to say is that even though many media and many people still tend to like think that blockchain and cryptocurrencies are like two equivalent terms, the thing is that cryptocurrencies normally use blockchain. That is true. And it is true that blockchain was invented to support cryptocurrencies. But nowadays, blockchain may be applied like to many more areas than just cryptos. I mean, to me, it's like probably alongside artificial intelligence, the technology is like likely to have like the greatest impact on the future of economy. I mean, it's hard to define it, but I mean, before like defining it, I think it's important to remark that blockchain, and same as the whole area of fintech, were like already important before COVID-19. But I feel like to some extent the whole of fintech, blockchain in particular, have become like much more mainstream now due to the pandemic, because it looks like everything has become much more virtual. People have become actually much more virtual, in their daily lives, in their work, in everything. So this is why there's been this fintech revolution worldwide, and blockchain is of course playing a role in this fintech revolution. I mean, blockchain is part of these DLT technologies, So I mean, in theory, it's unfalsifiable, impossible to change once a record has been added. It would be like similar to a distributed database stored on multiple computers as a massive like number of identical copies. One thing though that I want to say about blockchain is that despite being applied to many industries, I think that any company before applying blockchain needs to consider whether they actually need blockchain or not, because what you said before is actually spot on, in the sense that I'm seeing like many companies tapping into the blockchain and AI space, and in some cases I feel like it might not be that beneficial for them. I feel like before they need to assess whether they actually need blockchain or AI. for example, no, I mean, or any of these new technologies or not, no, because
Yeah.
I mean, not all of them are going to need it. The good thing about blockchain is that it can be applied to, I mean, crypto, CBDCs, healthcare, IoT, video games, trade finance, insurance. I mean, its applications are like countless nowadays.
Yeah, I guess, in my own simple way of interpreting, right, it is basically just a ledger, but written concurrently, and that you can't change it. So the other contracts you can undo it, right? I do agree with what you said. Not every situation, not every company or needs a blockchain. To put it simply, I always tell the startups, right? I would think like blockchain is like cosmetic, right? Sometimes natural beauty is better than putting lots of ICI on your face, right? Less, more is doesn't mean is, if you have a simple solution, adding blockchain on it just because it's a glamour word, but you do not know how to actually narrate that story, right? Because not many people, a lot of people claim to be a blockchain expert, but when you drill a bit down, they are like, okay, very superficial, right? So I said, I really agree with you. Not every situation you need to, add in blockchain. Blockchain should not be like our, what do you call that? Soy sauce or preservatives that you add in every dish, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, good. Then I have a question. Cryptocurrency. It seems like the last couple of months, right? Cryptocurrency is sort of, like a heartbeat, is like going up and down. And because, just one influential public figure said, I'm not accepting Bitcoin anymore, right? And I'm sure you know who I'm referring to, right? Elon Musk, right? And from 50,000 is now like what, 40, 30 something. And this kind of volatile trend, right? What are your thought about it?
I mean, when it comes to cryptocurrencies, despite being like one of my main areas of research, I try to adopt like a very balanced approach, and in the sense that I'm neither like a crypto enthusiast nor a hater. No, I mean, I try to be balanced. So I feel like cryptocurrencies offer, of course, like opportunities. I mean, it's like undeniable that the world seems to be changing. The world, the future of finance, is going that way in the sense that we are like seeing many more traditional companies. No, I mean, such as, for example, like DBS in Singapore or PayPal, like starting to create either like crypto exchanges or accepting cryptos as a means of payment. So I mean, there's a change in there. I mean, we cannot like neglect that. But at the same time, I feel like some of the main issues that cryptocurrencies have still remain. They remain in the sense that it's pretty much what you said before. No, they are still like too volatile. I mean, I feel like cryptocurrencies have like two main issues and a few more like small ones. But to me, two are key. I mean, it's volatility and there are regulatory issues as well. No? I mean, the sense that for example, that a central bank or a government is never like going to ban its central bank money. But when it comes to cryptos, look, I mean, it's like you can never like be completely sure about what's going to happen next. I mean, we saw, for example, China recently adopting a tougher stance towards cryptos than they did before. I mean, they did before already, but now they are even tougher. So you never know when a country may decide to adopt like to pass like tougher laws or bans towards cryptos. That's a risk, of course. And aside from that, it's volatility. I mean, what makes crypto so attractive to many people is the fact that that you may get a quick return, a high return in a quick period of time. And that's what makes them like so attractive in some ways. But at the same time, that's also what makes them so risky, because you never know. Like it's what you said before. I mean, we saw crypto going from 30 to 15, like 2 months early this year, and now we are back like to 40 or less. So you never know when you're going like to be back to 60 or back to 20. So that of course is investment opportunity, but risky at the same time. So it's all about being balanced. And well, I mean, the only thing about cryptos is like I feel like mainstream. I mean, mainstream investors, especially the retail ones, should be careful, no? In the sense that they should know what's at stake. No, they should know that you either make a lot of money or lose it. No, I mean, so that's part of the game.
I think, for crypto itself, especially the retail investors, it just makes me feel like, those days where, retail investors basically just hearsay about these penny stocks, because, it's like from 1 cent penny stocks, you hearsay something, from 1 cent to 2 cents. But, from 2 cents to go back to 1 cent is so easy. Whereas, blue chip stocks, for example, right? You buy Amazon, you buy Microsoft, they are consistently, tracking at that. So that there is not much of, not very volatile, but they consistently give dividend. And that these are the people behind it. So, for those who, for long-term investors, I guess, as an investor, I guess, it is really up to the individual how they divide their portfolios. For me, maybe like, 50% is in property, and then the others in bonds, and then maybe a 5%, I want to bet on crypto,
Exactly.
those that is more volatile, but maybe, take a bigger risk. But if you're lucky, you probably get a higher return, right? So I guess it really depends on the individual. Okay, good. I think the other question that I wanted to ask, right? So we have these crazy Bitcoin, crypto, but apparently Bitcoin still maintains its so-called grand position, right? Just above Ethereum. And then you have many others who are just like, actually every day there are new coins coming up, right? But then you have these really supporters of Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then you have those that just came out, and because of Elon Musk again that says he support XYZ coin, and suddenly there's a surge, right? So I want to touch on the other topic related to this, NFT. I personally feel that it is a good platform for artists to actually a way of them monetizing their work, because usually artists they say most of the artists, they may be painting like years in Montmartre, they'll never be a millionaire because they just couldn't commercialize their work, right? So because of NFT, right, so many artists are starting to put their artwork digital and into it, right? What do you think of this space? And my following question, and which is probably the last question, right? Recently there was this news that someone bought a artwork for 62 million out of Singapore, right? The guy, and he mentioned something like this, right? So I wanted your to actually see what your thoughts are. He said, fiat is actually the bubble, and crypto is the pin, because government are printing money. They keep printing money, and they can never take back the money that they print, which I want to interpret that, okay, because crypto circulation is limited, but government can keep on printing money, right? So like Indonesia, my toothbrush would cost 1 million rupiah, right? I just wanted, I haven't spoken to any expert about this, but I just wanted to see what you feel about this statement.
Okay, I'm going to start with the NFT part.
Okay, good.
When it comes to NFTs, I feel like it's an interesting area, of course. I mean, this idea, of tokenizing artworks and everything, this may offer like huge opportunities, but at the same time, I also feel like there is a hype, in the market out there. So it's pretty much the same idea that I said before when it comes to, for example, to where a company should or should not use blockchain. I mean, I feel like there is a proper space for NFTs, but not everything needs to become an NFT. I mean, I don't know what I mean, but it feels like it's interesting. Of course, it's an area that like offers like many opportunities, and it's part of this whole like blockchain revolution. I mean, it offers these opportunities to like tokenize music, artworks, and digital collections. So, I mean, there's a market in there, especially the arts industry could and actually should use it, especially when it comes to the music industry. I mean, it's been in crisis, for for more than a decade in the music industry because of piracy, you know, and that stuff. So they should or could tap into NFTs as a way for them to try to, well, to get some leverage again. So in that sense, NFTs might be like relevant, but it's same idea as I said before. No? I mean, we need to be aware of this hype. No? We need to make sure that there's actually like a need in that specific case for NFTs. When it comes to blockchain applications, I feel like one of the most interesting for me, and this is kind of related to the question that you asked me before, the second one, it's central bank digital currencies, you know, CBDCs. CBDCs are central bank money issued by a central bank, of course, but digital, no, in a digital way. I mean, we all know about the digital yuan, for example, which is actually my main area of research right now. But even in Europe, well, the European Central Bank is talking about the potential future digital euro, and then the US is also analyzing a future digital US dollar. So central bank digital currencies are, to me, part of this future of money. And this is related to that statement you told me about that person from Singapore. Well, I feel like one of the main, well, I don't know if I should say problems or things about cryptocurrencies is that sometimes there is this lack of balance, no, when approaching this topic. I mean, I find like either people who hate like cryptos like with all their guts, or people who are like those crypto enthusiasts who are part of this DeFi movement, no, decentralized finance, and feel like the era of central banks is done, and the economy needs to be completely decentralized. Well, I mean, to me, I feel like we need to adopt a balanced approach. Central bank money is going to be necessary. I mean, a country needs to maintain its sovereignty when it comes to issuing or not issuing money. I mean, seeing the completely decentralized system like cryptocurrencies becoming in the future, for example, like the main means of payment used by any country, would be like tricky, you know, because it would mean like this country has lost like control of its monetary policy. And then what you told me in that statement, that's true, but it's not accurate at the same time, in the sense that that person said that a government may keep like printing money and money and money. No, I mean, that's true, but no government is going to do that, because printing more money would lead to serious like inflation problems. No, it would alter their monetary policy and their whole financial system. So this is like central banks, they know what they need to print and how much, no, and when. So I don't feel like cryptocurrencies are like the pin that's going to burst this bubble. Cryptocurrencies, to me, are going to be like one more element of this future of money or future of payments idea. No? I mean, the future of money, the future of payments is going to include, of course, physical cash and physical coins and notes, no, because people are still going to use them to some extent. It's also going to include those central bank digital currencies issued by central banks, like digital yuan in China, etc. And it might include as well, to some extent, cryptocurrencies. But I don't feel like cryptos are going to replace like central bank money, either physical or digital, anywhere completely, you know, because I mean, cryptocurrencies are mostly used as an investment like asset class, and they may be used as well to make payments, but no government, no central bank is going to allow to lose its position in favor of privately issued cryptocurrencies that you actually don't control. That might pose threats to any financial system, to financial stability. So I don't feel like that needs to be like the future of money. I think that the future that should be, and I think that's the one that will happen in the end, is a future where all those different means of payment will like coexist, because each one of them may serve a different purpose.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, right? I personally don't believe that it's going to be the pin that bursts the bubble. I mean, our financial system, is actually evolved for a long time, and then for the fact that the Crypts dollar note is accepted worldwide in different currencies, and then the government, whichever country it is, right, will not let a new entrant like this actually take over, because I think it's from their political stability, and also is it going to replace currency, dollars? I still cannot imagine my mom using Bitcoin to go to the market yet. Until I can imagine that, right, then I think is accepted worldwide, right? So I think the two things, whether the government will, some government are actually embracing it, but as an alternative for a special class of people who would use it for special purpose. I mean, we all know that it started from, people wanting to actually, not to be traceable, right? It started from there, right? But I don't think you can just sort of like push it to everybody. And, I don't know if this lifetime is going to happen, but certainly because the person who said this, of course, he has got a huge stake in this. So, I mean, it's just natural that he will say that, right? That is going to be the pin. But yeah, very interesting observation from yourself, from both the practitioner, looking at fintech companies, and also from the probably academic side of it, because although your PhD is not in this specific field, I always feel that people with that have gone through the PhD training tend to be able to look at things in a more granular way. I'm saying that because I'm currently doing my DBA, and it actually got me thinking, about, as an entrepreneur, we just do it, right? But I think a balance of, some of the past case studies, theories, and how we actually apply it in modern world, is very important. So I'm actually learning that as well, because, I've been an entrepreneur my life, and I'm just like, okay, just do it. But now, perhaps when you're managing a bigger organization, there are some of the theories, the models, the case studies that's very, very, I think, helpful. It also helped me, to think of things in a very different way as well. So yeah, I guess we only have 30 minutes. What a shame. But, I just wanted to ask you a last question, right?
Sure.
Hong Kong, some people said that Hong Kong and Singapore is the financial hub, right? How do you see the potential of the fintech companies in Hong Kong itself? Is there one or two companies that you think that it is something that investors should be looking at? Because I know you mentor a few, right? Yeah. Is there like a groundbreaking technology company that is that you're currently mentoring?
Well, I mean, I feel like generally speaking, the future of fintech in Hong Kong is brilliant. I mean, it's a brilliant future because we are seeing like so many like companies tapping into this fintech space in Hong Kong that it's like difficult to say, because we see companies in wealth tech, prop tech, virtual banking, blockchain in general, cryptocurrencies in particular. I mean, like there are so many that it's hard, no? But I feel like in general, fintech has a bright present, but especially future in Hong Kong. I feel like, we're seeing many examples of that. For example, the 8 virtual banks in Hong Kong, which were launched last year in 2020. I mean, we went from 0 virtual banks to 8, and those 8 are like already like fully functional and getting many new customers, every day. So we're seeing people in Hong Kong becoming like every time much more virtual, much more digitalized. The companies are doing so as well. So I feel like in general, Hong Kong is doing great, and I think in that sense, it's because of many like elements. It's because of Hong Kong's unique position as a financial hub. It's also because of the government's efforts in Hong Kong. I mean, we saw like initiatives like Cyberport or the Hong Kong Science and Technology Park, for example. Just to mention 2 examples, are like two fantastic places, for startups to go and be mentored and be incubated. And so I feel like the whole ecosystem in general is like amazing, it's hard to say, but I feel like Hong Kong's future in that sense is amazing. I know that some people were a bit concerned, especially 2 years ago, because of Hong Kong's future, but I feel like there is no reason to be concerned, because we see that Hong Kong is as resilient as ever, and it's going to remain so.
Yeah, I agree with you. I guess, between these two countries, right? Singapore as a financial hub or Hong Kong as a base, for example, for startups in particular, right? I'm not talking about big, probably MNCs, but for startups who wants to choose because of where liquidity or investment money is. It really depends if your business or your target is China, then
Exactly.
be based in Hong Kong is a no-brainer, right? But if your target is going to be like Indonesia and Malaysia and the other developing ASEAN countries, I think Singapore would be a good platform to access. Yeah. So I think that there won't be one best. It really depends on the need of the company,
Exactly.
the person itself, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I wrote an article about that. I think it was in December, and basically I said something like, I feel like the fintech scenes in Hong Kong and Singapore are actually complementary rather than
Competing, right?
competition. Yes, exactly. Because I feel like it's true that many people still tend to think of Hong Kong and Singapore as like two competing places, like always competing. But I don't feel it's like that, at least not anymore. I mean, each one of them has like its unique features. I mean, it's what you said, Hong Kong is like maybe more interesting for those willing to tap into the greater China area, whereas Singapore is more like a gateway to the ASEAN region, Indonesia, Philippines. But aside from that, I mean, there are certain industries where Hong Kong may excel more than Singapore and vice versa. For example, when it comes to cryptocurrencies, which we were discussing before, Singapore is like much more crypto friendly than Hong Kong. I mean, it's not that Hong Kong is not crypto friendly, but I feel like Singapore is much more open in that sense. Well, so if you are like starting a crypto company, you might consider Singapore instead of Hong Kong, perhaps, no? But in other cases, Hong Kong may be more interesting. So I feel like both are actually complementary, in every possible way. So I don't think we need to look at each other and say that if Hong Kong succeeds, Singapore doesn't, and the opposite. No, I mean, both are actually like completely complementary, as I said, and I think it's actually great, to have like such two important financial hubs, in only like a 4-hour ride, on a plane. So that's actually quite amazing.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Oriol, for your insights on both the fintech, the blockchain, and the NFT space. I wish we have more time, but we have 30 minutes. I think it's a good 30 minutes chat on this topic. The video is being recorded, so we'll share with our members as well. So once again, thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us. It's a Friday evening. We look forward to meeting you in person, hopefully soon in Hong Kong. So you take care, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Rina.
Yeah. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.